This is a Manet, and it is a detail. The slide library didn't have, or somebody else took it out, okay, of a painting that he did called The Concert in the Tuileries. The Tuileries, as I'm sure most of you will know, is the area between the Louvre and the Place de la Concorde, okay, and which we've all walked. Sarkozy happens to live there these days, and the Tuileries is one of the first, but there will be many in the 19th century. Central Park is the American example of it. Hyde Park is our example of it. Hampstead Heath is the London example of it, of public parks. That is the notion that, Bois de Boulogne, the notion that there needs to be in an urban universe some space that is public and green, okay? And this is new. And the whole notion of, by the way, not only is this new, public libraries are new, public museums are new, all of the cafes are new, okay, and so on. And he, however, interestingly enough, says these people go to the concert on a Sunday, they're dressed, okay, and so on and so forth. Then, less so now, clothes were an indication of time and space and class, of course. Clothes were highly politicized in that particular culture, interestingly enough. But he records it as a social occasion rather than a cultural one. That is, the view that he has of it, I want to argue, is not that of people sitting and listening to a concert of wonderful music, but the function of the concert in the park is so that people can come out on Sunday to be seen and to see. May I add, there's a double theater going on here. We are gazed at and we gaze, if you like, to see and be seen, and that this is a social occasion rather than necessarily a cultural occasion, let us say. You will see, as I'll show you later, Renoir will do many images of people in the theater, and for them it is as much a social occasion as it is a cultural occasion. So the notion is that we are beginning, the painter is beginning to see these things in a different kind of way, in another kind of way. You will note this is one of my favorite guys, though he's considered a minor major, as opposed to a major painting. Okay, his name is Boudin. He was he taught several of the, and this is the beach at Trouville. I'm showing it to you, by the way, because it's in the AGO. You should know. It's one of the few good Impressionist paintings that the AGO has. Not many. They have a very bad Renoir, may I add, for example. Renoir only did 100 great paintings, okay? All right, so, you know, okay, that'll do. No, we lose our critical faculties when we commodify. I mean that very seriously. The bad Renoir is worth a lot of money, okay, but that doesn't make it a great painting. It just happens to be worth a lot of money, okay, and so on. So tricky. That's another issue, but it's an interesting one, okay. And this is the beach at Trouville. Boudin said, and I'm virtually quoting, but I'm paraphrasing, okay. He said, the peasants have their painters, Courbet, Millet, okay. The upper class have their painters, Winterhalter, Puvis de Chauvin. He says, what about the new bourgeoisie? Shouldn't they also have their painters? They work hard, he said, and then they go out on sunset on the jetty and take a walk, and we should record their lives as well. Now, please remember that this new bourgeoisie is a new phenomenon. I mean that very seriously. Marx got it right, okay? That kind of class of professionals and manufacturers, retailers and wholesalers did not exist prior to the 19th century as a class that dictated taste. Not till, okay, most of the paintings, by the way, in the New York galleries are from what? Robber barons who bought up Europe in the late 19th, and I'm serious, and early 20th century, and donated their work to get tax benefits to various museums in the United States, in effect. And our robber barons were not wise enough to do this. No, that's all, and so on. Okay, except Thompson, who donated his stuff recently, of course, to this. This is the beach at Trouville. You will note that this is the middle class at leisure, okay? What occurs for the first time also that the Impressionists record is that people who have risen up by their own efforts in the social scale, now have leisure. Think about it. Leisure was until post-1789, let's call it that, to use the good date, post-French Revolution, okay? Until then, it was an upper-class phenomenon. People did not have leisure. People did not travel. The first travel agency, may I add, was 1839, Thomas Cook and Son in London. And then there were other travel agencies. For those of you, I know many of my colleagues in French culture are here, and the first beaches were actually at Biarritz, that were below Bordeaux, and then the beaches in the north, Trouville, Deauville. Honfleur has a little beach, not very much, but here they are. And of course, you can still go to the beach at Trouville today, but naturally they won't be wearing anything, much less the same thing. that is one of these dresses could cover the whole beach at this moment. These are changing rooms, but the notion of beauty was different, and the notion of why you're going there is different. You will note that several of the women have parasol, okay, not parapluie, but parasol, okay, because not to have a tan means you did not work outside. In other words, it was better to be whiter than it was to be browner, okay? It had nothing to do with cancer, okay? It had to do with class, which probably is more powerful than cancer in certain kinds of phenomenon, okay? But they record it, and they are interested in this, and this is a very new phenomenon. Okay, kings and queens did not go to beaches until later, until they emulate, may I add, the bourgeoisie. That is, okay, I'm very serious about this. Queen Victoria then went to Nice and Menton and other cities and so on, and all of those wretched rulers of Belgium and other places in the north in the late 19th century and so on.